The late afternoon sun filtered softly through the tall windows of Adelaide Cottage, casting warm streaks of gold across the sitting room floor. A sense of calm lingered in the air, the kind of calm that comes only after a busy school week has ended and a family can finally exhale. For Catherine, Princess of Wales, these quiet moments are sacred. Away from the flash of cameras and the hum of public engagements, she is simply mummy. And lately, there's been one topic her children cannot stop talking about: an adventure, an iconic destination, a place filled with history, sweeping landscapes, and just enough wild unpredictability to spark three young imaginations. According to royal insiders, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis have been quietly lobbying their parents for a very special family trip, one that blends royal heritage with pure childhood excitement. And in a rare, candid exchange during a recent engagement, Catherine couldn't help but smile as she spilled the details. It happened almost accidentally. While visiting a community arts center, Catherine chatted warmly with a group of parents about balancing work and family life. When one mother asked how she keeps her children entertained during school holidays, the princess laughed and replied, "They've been very busy planning our next big adventure. I think they believe they're in charge." The room chuckled. Then came the tease. They've set their sights on somewhere rather iconic, she added with a knowing grin, "and I suspect we'll be packing wellies." Wellies. That one word sent royal watchers into speculation mode. Sources close to the family suggest the destination in question is none other than Balmoral Castle, the beloved Scottish retreat long associated with royal summers. For George, Charlotte, and Louis, Balmoral is not merely a historic estate. It is a playground of forests, lochs, rolling hills, and freedom. Unlike the formal atmosphere of Buckingham Palace, Balmoral carries a rustic charm. There are ponies to ride, rivers to explore, and endless acres to roam. It is where children can run without ceremony, where muddy boots are not only tolerated but expected, and where the royal family has traditionally felt most at ease. The estate was deeply cherished by Queen Elizabeth II, who often described it as her sanctuary. For Catherine, introducing her children to that legacy carries emotional resonance. But this trip, insiders say, isn't just about tradition, it's about memory-making. As the eldest, Prince George reportedly approaches the idea of the trip with quiet enthusiasm. Known for his curiosity and growing sense of responsibility, he has been reading about Scottish wildlife and sketching possible hiking routes on a map. He wants to climb the hills, Catherine reportedly shared during a lighthearted conversation. He's convinced he's ready for the biggest one. That biggest one might very well be the iconic Lochnagar Peak near Balmoral, a challenging yet achievable climb for adventurous families. George's fascination isn't surprising. From an early age, his parents have nurtured a love of the outdoors. Whether attending environmental initiatives with his father, Prince William, or learning about conservation projects, George has grown up understanding the importance of nature. Balmoral offers the perfect classroom. Princess Charlotte, meanwhile, is said to be the driving force behind the family's eagerness to return north. Bold, spirited, and famously independent, Charlotte reportedly declared that she wants to fish like Gangan used to. The affectionate nickname was once used for Queen Elizabeth II, a detail that tugged at Catherine's heart when Charlotte said it. Fishing at Balmoral is more than a pastime. It is a ritual passed down through generations. Charlotte's interest reflects both a playful spirit and an instinctive connection to family history. She loves the stories. A royal aide once remarked about Charlotte, especially the ones that make her feel part of something bigger. At Balmoral, those stories come alive. Then there is Prince Louis. Energetic, expressive, and endlessly entertaining, Louis has reportedly announced that he plans to outrun everyone across the Highland Fields. If past public appearances are any indication, that may very well happen. Louis thrives in open spaces. The wide Scottish landscapes would provide endless opportunity for exploration, and inevitably a few grass-stained trousers. Catherine has often spoken about the importance of letting children simply be children. Balmoral, with its informal rhythms, allows exactly that. Historically, royal summers in Scotland have been moments of bonding away from London's intensity, but this particular visit would carry additional significance. It would mark a generational bridge, from the late Queen's reign to the future embodied by George, Charlotte, and Louis. For Catherine, the symbolism is subtle but meaningful. Introducing her children to the same hills their great-grandmother loved feels like passing a quiet torch. The past few years have tested the royal family in ways few could have predicted. Transitions of leadership, shifts in public perception, an evolving monarchy redefining its role. Amid that complexity, family unity has become more visible and perhaps more necessary than ever. A retreat to Balmoral represents stability, continuity, a reminder that beyond headlines and speculation, there remains a family determined to preserve both tradition and togetherness. When pressed gently by a well-wisher about the rumored Highland escape, Catherine offered a final playful clue. "I think they're most excited about the campfire," she said, smiling, "though I suspect the marshmallows may not survive long." The image was striking. 3 young royals gathered around a crackling fire, sticky fingers and laughter echoing across ancient grounds. For all the grandeur associated with monarchy, it is these ordinary childhood moments that resonate most deeply. The children's fascination with Balmoral reflects a broader theme within William and Catherine's parenting philosophy: grounding royal life in tangible experiences. They prioritize nature walks over formal pageantry whenever possible, school runs over spectacle, hands-on learning over distant ceremony. The iconic destination their children are eyeing is not defined by opulence, it is defined by authenticity. And perhaps that is the quiet revolution underway within the modern monarchy. Will the Wales family confirm the trip officially? Unlikely. Their private family time remains just that: private. But Catherine's gentle hints have already painted a vivid picture. Hiking boots lined by the door, fishing rods leaning against a stone wall, 3 children brimming with anticipation. In a world often captivated by royal drama, this story feels refreshingly simple. 3 siblings, 1 iconic destination, a mother sharing just enough detail to let the public glimpse the joy behind palace walls. As the Highlands await their young explorers, one thing seems certain: whether climbing hills, casting fishing lines, or racing across open fields, George, Charlotte, and Louis are not just visiting an estate, they are stepping into a legacy. And thanks to Princess Kate's warm candor, the world has been invited, just briefly, to imagine it with them. A different kind of royal education. If the Wales children do return to Balmoral Castle this season, it will not simply be a holiday. It will be an education of a very particular kind. For Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Prince William, outdoor retreats are part of a conscious parenting philosophy. They have long believed that resilience, empathy, and perspective are cultivated not in grand halls, but in open fields. At Balmoral, the children wake to birdsong rather than traffic. They help collect kindling. They learn how weather changes across hillsides. They see deer grazing at dawn. These are not staged photo opportunities. They are formative experiences. William himself has spoken in the past about how transformative Scottish summers were during his own childhood. The Highlands offered him something rare: anonymity, or at least a version of it. There were fewer lenses, fewer headlines, more sky. It is a gift he appears determined to pass on. For Princess Charlotte in particular, the connection to Scotland carries emotional layers. Though she was very young when Queen Elizabeth II passed away, Charlotte is said to ask thoughtful questions about her great-grandmother: what she liked, what she did for fun, where she felt happiest. The answer, more often than not, is Balmoral. Charlotte's reported wish to fish like Gangan isn't just charming. It reflects a child's instinct to feel close to someone she knows through stories. Family insiders say Catherine handles those conversations gently, weaving memory into activity. If Charlotte holds a fishing rod by the River Dee, it won't be accompanied by a lecture on history, but by a simple story about a great-grandmother who loved the quiet patience of the water. Moments like that are subtle bridges between generations. At 11, Prince George stands on the edge of deeper understanding. He knows, more clearly than his siblings, that one day he will inherit more than an estate. He will inherit responsibility. Trips to iconic destinations like Balmoral are therefore layered with symbolism, whether he recognizes it fully yet or not. George's reported interest in hiking higher peaks and studying maps hints at a developing sense of purpose. Exploration is not only physical, it is intellectual. Observers close to the family suggest that William occasionally turns countryside walks into informal lessons, pointing out conservation areas, explaining how land is maintained, discussing why environmental stewardship matters. In this way, Balmoral becomes a living classroom in leadership. Then there is Prince Louis, still young enough to approach the world with pure spontaneity. For him, Balmoral is less about legacy and more about freedom. He reportedly loves the sound of bagpipes echoing across the hills, the novelty of Highland games, the thrill of spotting wildlife from a distance. His laughter, aides say, carries far in open landscapes, and perhaps that is exactly why these trips matter. Because amid institutional responsibility and historic weight, there must remain space for uncomplicated joy. Catherine once remarked that childhood should feel expansive. In Scotland, expansiveness is literal. While the idea of three young royals eyeing an iconic destination makes for delightful headlines, there is also strategic awareness behind such narratives. The modern monarchy operates in an era where relatability strengthens legitimacy. Images, even imagined ones, of the Wales children hiking, fishing, and gathering around campfires humanize a family often perceived through ceremonial frames. Without oversharing, Catherine's subtle hints achieve something powerful. They remind the public that behind the titles are parents navigating the same questions as any other family. Where do we go for the holidays? How do we create memories? How do we honor the past while raising children for the future? Unlike previous royal generations, George, Charlotte, and Louis are growing up in a Britain actively debating the monarchy's relevance. They will one day need not only ceremonial understanding but emotional intelligence, an awareness of how history intersects with modern expectations. Visits to heritage sites like Balmoral cultivate that connection organically. They see portraits on the walls, they hear stories from long-serving staff. They understand that continuity is not abstract, it is lived. And yet, Catherine is said to ensure the tone remains light. There are no formal lectures about destiny over breakfast. Instead, history unfolds naturally, in the way a gardener describes planting traditions, or a gamekeeper recounts decades on the estate. Some royal commentators speculate that the iconic destination Catherine teased could extend beyond Scotland in the future. Might the children one day explore the rugged coastline near Sandringham House? Or even travel further afield to parts of the Commonwealth as they grow older? For now, though, Balmoral remains the most emotionally resonant choice. It is close enough to feel safe, historic enough to feel meaningful, wild enough to feel thrilling. At first glance, the idea of royal children planning a countryside trip seems charming but inconsequential. Look closer, and it reveals a broader pattern. William and Catherine are quietly redefining what royal upbringing looks like. They are blending duty with normalcy, ceremony with spontaneity. And by allowing small glimpses into that balance, like Catherine's playful comment about wellies and campfires, they reinforce a modern narrative. The monarchy is not retreating from tradition. It is rooting itself in lived experience. George learning to read a landscape, Charlotte connecting with ancestral stories, Louis discovering the joy of open air. These are not just holiday plans, they are seeds being planted. As summer approaches, speculation will inevitably swirl about whether the whale's family is heading north. But whether confirmed or quietly undertaken, the deeper truth remains unchanged. Three young royals are dreaming of hills, rivers, and crackling fires. A mother is smiling at their enthusiasm. A father is remembering his own childhood in those same fields. And somewhere in the Scottish Highlands, the landscape waits, timeless, patient, ready to welcome another generation. In the end, perhaps that is the most powerful image of all. Not crowns, not ceremonies, not headlines. Just a family walking together across open ground, carrying history lightly, and creating memories that will one day shape a king. Behind the scenes, how Catherine curates the experience. What makes the Wales family trips to Balmoral so remarkable isn't just the location. It's the careful curation by Catherine, Princess of Wales herself. While the palace maintains strict routines for official visits, Catherine approaches family adventures with a blend of planning and spontaneity that has become her signature style. Royal aides reveal that she maps out activities for George, Charlotte, and Louis that strike a delicate balance, structured enough to keep them safe and engaged, but flexible enough to allow exploration and discovery. Fishing rods are laid out, boots lined up, hiking maps pinned on corkboards, all while leaving room for impromptu games or wildlife spotting. Catherine reportedly places particular emphasis on connecting the children to the estate's natural ecosystem. They are encouraged to observe birds, track animal paths, and even identify plant species. This is not academic instruction. It's experiential learning, a gentle way to instill curiosity and responsibility. It's like giving them a classroom without walls, one palace source explains. They learn respect for nature, patience, and how small actions impact a larger environment. All of that happens while they're having fun. Beyond the natural world, Balmoral offers the children an intimate look at royal heritage. Unlike formal palace tours, the experience here is tactile and immersive. Charlotte reportedly enjoys handling old letters or trinkets in the private family archives, while George takes note of architectural features that once housed generations of royals. Catherine uses these moments to subtly teach the children about continuity and stewardship. It's not about lectures, the insider explains. It's about showing them that history isn't a static thing. It's alive in the landscapes, the traditions, and the way the estate operates day to day. For Louis, even the smallest interactions, helping with feeding ponies or tending to flower beds, carry significance. It's hands-on exposure to responsibility, tempered with playful freedom. In this way, the trip becomes a microcosm of values that William and Catherine want to instill: curiosity, empathy, and respect for both people and place. One of the consistent challenges for the royal family is managing public interest while preserving private life. Catherine's casual comments about wellies and campfires were enough to spark excitement among royal watchers, but she maintains discretion about exact dates and logistics. This approach serves multiple purposes. It protects the children from media scrutiny, preserves the integrity of the experience, and allows the family to be spontaneous. By providing small glimpses, the tease about marshmallows, the hint at hiking adventures, Catherine humanizes the royal family without turning personal moments into public spectacles. Observers note that this strategy also aligns with William's broader vision for the monarchy: transparency in principle, privacy in practice. Sharing the joy and curiosity of their children signals accessibility and relatability while keeping the family's intimate life protected. The children's excursions are supported by a team of staff who have served the royal family for decades. Guides familiar with Balmoral's history lead walks, offering gentle storytelling rather than formal lectures. Gamekeepers help the children understand the estate's wildlife, while gardeners show how the grounds are maintained throughout the seasons. Royal insiders emphasize that the adults play a background role, letting the children take the lead in their exploration. "It's all about agency," says one staff member. They decide which paths to take, where to stop, what to explore. The staff is there for support, not control. Even small gestures, like allowing Louis to help carry a fishing basket or letting Charlotte measure the depth of a stream, reinforce confidence and self-reliance. These interactions combine learning, play, and heritage in ways that structured schooling or formal visits cannot replicate. Beyond lessons in nature and history, the trip is also a powerful bonding opportunity. Siblings George, Charlotte, and Louis reportedly thrive when given shared challenges, whether climbing gentle hills, spotting wildlife, or simply navigating the estate's sprawling grounds together. Catherine encourages cooperative play, fostering teamwork and empathy among her children. She observes quietly, ready to step in if needed, but mostly allowing them to negotiate, problem solve, and celebrate successes together. This intentional cultivation of sibling bonds is considered a cornerstone of their upbringing. Royal sources explain that the shared memory of a campfire, a fishing attempt, or a muddy climb becomes part of the family narrative, a collection of stories they will remember as a unit for decades. Psychologists and child development experts often note that exposure to nature supports cognitive and emotional growth. For the young royals, Balmoral offers not just education and play, but emotional grounding. The estate's wide-open spaces provide opportunities for reflection and imagination. George can plan and strategize during hikes. Charlotte can explore her curiosity and creativity. Louis can expend energy safely while developing observational skills. For Catherine and William, these excursions are a reminder of the simplicity and importance of unstructured childhood experiences, something both are keen to preserve amid the demands of public life. Visiting Balmoral is not only about adventure, it's about continuity. Catherine reportedly takes care to share the stories of Queen Elizabeth II, explaining why the estate was cherished and how generations of royals have maintained the property. Charlotte and George, in particular, are drawn to these narratives. They ask questions, remember anecdotes, and begin to understand their place within a lineage that stretches back centuries. Louis, while more focused on play, also absorbs lessons about responsibility and care. From helping tend animals to understanding the seasonal rhythms of the estate, he is forming the foundations of respect for tradition and service. In this way, Catherine subtly blends education with heritage, ensuring that the children's understanding of monarchy is experiential rather than purely abstract. Observers note that William and Catherine's approach at Balmoral reflects a broader philosophy. They strive to balance the weight of public expectation with the necessity of private childhoods. Trips like this exemplify a deliberate strategy, giving the children autonomy and exposure to heritage while maintaining protection from intrusive media scrutiny. It is a quiet assertion that royal life, even when privileged, can still nurture grounded, emotionally intelligent, and engaged young adults. By letting George, Charlotte, and Louis take the lead in exploring Balmoral, the couple reinforces values of curiosity, resilience, and familial responsibility. These traits will be essential for the children as they grow into roles that combine public expectation with private life. Even as speculation swirls among royal watchers, the children's excitement reportedly continues to build. George studies maps. Charlotte gathers small guides and notes. Louis prepares to run across the fields as soon as the family arrives. For Catherine, the delight is in watching their eyes light up with discovery. For William, it's a reminder of his own childhood experiences in the Highlands and the formative power of nature and heritage combined. The public may only glimpse the occasional photograph or anecdote, but insiders emphasize that the real memories, laughter around campfires, shared stories along rivers, and muddy adventures through ancient forests, will remain private treasures. In the end, Princess Kate's hints about an iconic destination are about far more than a family holiday. They reveal a modern royal approach to parenting, combining tradition, education, exploration, and emotional connection. For George, Charlotte, and Louis, Balmoral is a classroom, a playground, and a bridge to the past. For Catherine and William, it is an opportunity to instill values, build confidence, and create memories that will shape the next generation of royals. As the children's excitement grows and plans quietly take shape, the world is offered a rare glimpse. Three young royals, eyes wide with wonder, preparing to step into an estate rich with history, natural beauty, and endless possibilities. And in that glimpse, one can see the enduring power of the royal family, not in ceremony alone, but in the quiet, meaningful moments that pass from parent to child, from generation to generation.